SummerSlam is less than 2 weeks away, so a lot of time was spent on building up the feuds that will make up the show. World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins and Finn Balor signed their contract for a World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam. Logan Paul appeared to build up his match against Ricochet, and Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Gunther and Drew McIntyre had a confrontation. We also saw Big Bronson Reed take on Tommaso Ciampa, and Becky Lynch battled Zoe Stark in a match with a very interesting stipulation. Let's take a look at what happened on the penultimate Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and streaming.com. Today, I'm your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, alongside the Phenom, Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats as always. And, well, here we go, gentlemen. Penultimate Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam. And we were live tonight from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, the home of the NHL's Tampa Bay Lightning. And we started it off with an in-ring segment, The Judgment Day. You notice Dominic wasn't in the ring, but Dominic got a grandiose, dramatic entrance, since he is the NXT North American champion. And they were interrupted by the undisputed tag team champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And it led into a match for later in the night where Dominic Mysterio would defend the NXT North American Championship against Sami Zayn. Whoa, okay. The segment did some table setting for the rest of the show, but it was relatively bland for the most part. It felt like they could have accomplished the same thing with a 1-minute backstage segment or interview. So, the only thing I will say is it was smart to open the show with Judgment Day already in the ring. We'll probably see their entrance at some other point, but we didn't need it here either. And KO trying to keep himself calm is hilarious, and that's all there is to it. And so with that, let's move on to our first match of the night, which was Becky Lynch squaring off against Zoe Stark. And the stipulation being, if Becky Lynch won this match, then Becky would get another match with Trish Stratus. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 50 seconds, the man, Becky Lynch. Becky wins it with the manhandle slam. And, well, I'll say it like this. The man may have had more on the line, but both women were aggressive right from the get-go. We were barely 2 minutes into the bout before Zoe uncorked a springboard dropkick that sent Becky head over heels. Trish ended up interfering and hit a headbutt with her protective facial mask, but Becky managed to kick out at 2. The man made a comeback and hit the manhandle slam for the pin and the win, which means she and Trish will likely have their final confrontation in the SummerSlam. This was another impressive performance from Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch. They have already developed chemistry as opponents, so it would not be surprising to see WWE keep them in the same orbit for a little while. Trish still had the protective mask on, even though her nose has had more than enough time to recover. Pretending injuries last longer than they do is a hallmark in professional wrestling. Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton did it the best with that legendary cast on his arm. The headbutt Trish hit would have looked so much worse from any other camera angle. Becky had a nice transition into an armbar at one point, and then Zoe landed on her feet when Becky avoided a Phoenix splash. But the more impressive part is how Zoe made it look like no big deal to do her corkscrew flip from the top rope. 3 to 3.25 stars. One of the fights of the night. Very well done. So there isn't much more to say here. MF, Becky Lynch, to the surprise of none of us, we all expected Becky was going to win this match, and sure enough, she did. And now Becky gets another shot at Trish, and I think we're all in agreement that it'll very likely happen in the SummerSlam.
Yeah, that was the rumor. That was the idea. That's when this rivalry began. They kind of felt like this was going to be that all roads led to this possible showdown, and now we're getting it. So Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch at SummerSlam is now a go, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. There's no doubt about it. So the excitement level is definitely there now, and I really got nothing more to add. So yeah, 3 stars. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this was definitely a 3-star bout. I mean, yeah, this was definitely expected for Becky Lynch to go over, and yep, now it looks like it's going to be Trisha Becky one more time at SummerSlam, and I noticed on social media that Trish was unhappy with Zoe Stark to the point that she actually walked away from her. Okay, then. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Trish tried everything she could to make sure this match doesn't happen, but that was not the case. And now she's gonna deal with the man one more time into SummerSlam. So 3 stars for me. It is yours, Florio.
All right, and we move on. We had another in-ring segment, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, cutting a promo on Brock Lesnar. And by the way, Brock Lesnar will be in Houston for the Go Home show next week. So it was the typical strong mic work from Cody, and it is what it is on that. So another strong segment there. NXT North American Championship on the line. The champion Dominic Mysterio, with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest in his corner, squaring off against one half of the undisputed tag team champion Sami Zayn, his partner Kevin Owens in his corner. Winner of the match in an even 12 minutes, and still the NXT North American champion. It is Dominic Mysterio. MF, very interesting ending there. During the match, referee Sean Bennett ejected Kevin Owens, got his hand caught in the cookie jar, but he also threw out Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley as well, and made it a one-on-one match. But you notice Damian and Rhea, they got to KO. They attacked him. It was enough to distract Sami, and Dominic Mysterio pulling the tights and getting the win and retaining the North American title in an even 12 minutes.
All right, yeah. I was gonna go somewhere and try to pull a little anti-heel commentator moment that really was gonna rub Florio and Michael Bullock the wrong way, but technically I can't be. Well, you know what? The hell with it. I'm gonna say it. Are you talking about Dominic Mysterio, the uncrowned World Heavyweight Champion? Because
Hey, he didn't win the title. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. He didn't win the title.
Didn't win the title. Didn't you see the photo there, Bullock? Didn't you see the photo in social media? They clear as day. 2 belts in his possession. What are you talking about?
But the referee didn't. But the referee obviously saw something that he.
All right, hold on. I'm going to clear it up because, all right, everybody's wondering, what am I talking about? Over yesterday, there was an event in Mexico City, a WWE live event, where Dominic Mysterio fought against Seth Rollins. And at the time, Dominic Mysterio became the World Heavyweight Champion. Yes. But there was some shenanigans in it. Referee got taken out during the match, and then Damian Priest tried to interfere. Seth cut him off at the pass, but Mommy was also there, and she walloped Rollins with her title, the WWE Women's World title. She pulled Dominic over, revived the original referee. Ref got thrown in. 1, 2, 3. Dominic was announced as the new World Heavyweight Champion. He had both belts. He was celebrating the moment until a second referee rolled in, told everything that happened to the first referee. Referee restarted the bout. Seth Rollins wins the match, and successfully defends the World Heavyweight Champion. But I'm going to use my selective memory and say that second part never happened. And I'm going to call Dominic Mysterio the real World Heavyweight Champion.
Well, technically, it's Seth freaking Rollins that's still the champion.
Well, no, because Anthony Florio knows where I'm about to go about that because of the Ric Flair thing back in 1991, 1992, that whole shtick. So me and Florio were going to play off that part where I be calling Dominic Mysterio the real world champion. Florio can go on. This is kind of me and Florio acting like Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon.
Why don't you stop?
Exactly. So there you go.
Why don't you stop?
So that's where that goes.
By the way, Fletch, it's not Dominic Mysterio, it's Dum Dum.
Oh, you really want to say that? I'll tell him. Because I'll have Mommy come after you.
Go ahead and tell Dum Dum and Mommy. I don't care. I ain't afraid of those two dipshits.
I hope so.
Hey, whoa, Bullock. No, don't do that. Watch the language, bro. PG show. That's all I'm gonna say. I wasn't gonna go there, but good grief. Look, good match. 3 stars. You knew there was gonna be some interference, and obviously they were gonna protect Dominic from keeping the NXT North American title. They're gonna do that because that's the way that they were gonna do. Now, as far as, and I just found out this is actually breaking news. They're actually playing an actual angle with Kevin Owens. Owens is actually legitimately hurt. So they are selling the injury, but Owens is legitimately injured. He actually did get hurt. That back thing or that side thing, that rib thing, he's been dealing with it for a little bit. He actually injured it last week in that tag team title match. And now they sold it tonight that, oh my God, he got hurt again. No, he's been hurt. Now they sold it. So what's going to happen there? I don't know. As it pertains, maybe they might give him a little bit of some time off to rest him and whatnot. But no, they sold it. So, but Owens was working with a legit injury. Tonight was the night that they decided to pull the trigger and have him down and out and hurt. So we'll see. Nothing more to say. Like I said, 3 stars, good battle. But the outcome was never in doubt. They were not going to give Sami Zayn the NXT North American Championship. No way. Not a chance at all. But it was still solid for what it was worth. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it the 3 stars as well. And yeah, I just learned of the legitimate injury for Kevin Owens as well. So hopefully the injury is not too serious, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully we'll hear more as the week goes on. But yeah, there was no way they were going to take the title off of Dominic Mysterio this quickly, and especially to Sami Zayn. So yeah, once again, the Judgment Day running roughshod, and they are boldly claiming that they run WWE right now. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
I'll have more on Judgment Day at the end of the show, but yeah, 3.5 stars for me. I think MF, you underscored it a little bit. Despite a couple of mistakes, this was a decent match. Sammy definitely helped carry the load, but Dom had some good moments too. Dirty Dom was not going to lose the title, and having him beat Sammy clean was not an option. So the finish was not the worst way to end the bout. It's always weird when WWE starts a match and then immediately throws it to a commercial break within 2 minutes or so. Sami Zayn has a smooth Michinoku driver, and it was hard to tell what was supposed to happen when Dom countered the Blue Thunder Bomb. It was an awkward botch that thankfully did not lead to anyone getting injured. But because of the body of work and the near falls near the end of the match, I got to give this about 3.5. Maybe around 3.25, 3.5. We'll put it that way. So, so not much more to say on that. Moving on, we had a lot of video packages, backstage stuff. And then we had our next match of the evening. It was Bronson Reed squaring off against Big Bronson Reed squaring off against Tommaso Ciampa, and the winner of the match in roughly an even 13 minutes, it was Big Bronson Reed with the Tsunami off a distraction by Shinsuke Nakamura. So, so with that, Michael Bullock, started with you. Bronson Reed, Big Bronson Reed, defeating Tommaso Ciampa in roughly an even 13 minutes. Shinsuke with the distraction. So not much more to say on that. So Bullock, let's start it off with you here. So your thoughts as Bronson Reed wins in an even 13 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give this about a 3.5 star match here. I mean, I thought it was solid here, and yeah, I mean the distraction by Shinsuke Nakamura, I mean, was a little distracting there, but it didn't take away from it. And yeah, big win for Bronson Reed over someone like Tommaso Ciampa. So yeah, there's nothing more for me to say. It is yours, Florio.
Yeah, 3.5 stars as well. I mean, a Be a Man fight, no question about that. And this was an MF special. There's no question about it. Other than the spot when Ciampa got Reed up on his shoulders, it was a little more tame than expected. Both guys seemed like they were out for blood during backstage promos last week, so it wasn't an overly more physical encounter, but still, it was a very good match. A lot of people see a guy like Bronson Reed and think his weight and size are his biggest assets, but with him, it's actually his strength. He makes picking up a grown man look like it's nothing to him. Not all big guys have that kind of power, so it stands out. And Ciampa hitting a famouser was kind of surprising. So, so I got to give this about maybe 3.5 stars here as well. So not much more for me to add. So MF, your style of match, physical, smash mouth, be a man fight, as Big Bronson Reed defeats Tommaso Ciampa here tonight. So MF, let's get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I know. Solid match, good battle. I'm happy that Bronson Reed got the win. And yeah, like you said, Nakamura winning that battle, or I should say Nakamura getting involved, not a big deal, not a big problem. Should have been in certain areas, but it was fine for what it was worth. I think the way that the thing played out was, necessary, good, solid. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. So yeah, congratulations to Bronson Reed on a big win and meaningful victory. So yeah, Florio, it's yours.
All right, and we were supposed to have a match here with Liv Morgan squaring off against the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, but that did not happen because Rhea Ripley absolutely dominated Liv Morgan. Wrapped a steel chair around her left arm and proceeded to stomp on it, not once, but twice. Whoa. Okay. The headbutt Rhea hit on Morgan looked awesome. And, well, there were rumors about, potentially Raquel Rodriguez or Liv Morgan possibly being future challengers for Rhea Ripley in the Women's World Championship. But I think Mommy's probably going to have herself a night off come SummerSlam. So it's really looking like that, guys, here. So, but definitely a cringe-worthy beatdown, no doubt about it. And if you're squeamish, you did not want to see what happened. And oh boy, Liv Morgan. Oh my goodness. I mean, she sold that like a champ, man. She screamed, she cried. I mean, my God, man, she absolutely nailed that selling. So, damn good way of selling it. That's all I'm gonna say. So, we'll wait and see what happens. But it led up to another one of the big segments of the night here, as it was Ricochet, and he issued the challenge to Logan Paul for a match at SummerSlam, and Logan Paul attacked Ricochet from behind and officially said, "Challenge accepted. I will see you at SummerSlam." But not before Ricochet laid him out with a super kick and a standing shooting star press. So say it like this: that segment did its job of setting up the SummerSlam match between Logan Paul and Ricochet, but it was probably the least interesting of their encounters so far. At least Ricochet looked cool hitting the standing shooting star press. The crowd didn't seem to care too much for the Ricochet and Paul segment until things got physical. But nonetheless, gentlemen, a match just about six and a half months or so in the making. It's a match we've been wanting to see since their epic collision at the Royal Rumble back in January. And we're finally getting it at SummerSlam. Ricochet versus Logan Paul. That could be a dark horse fight of the night right there, guys. Think about it. With their bodies of work. So, see what happens with that. Then from there, we had Damian Priest squaring off against Apollo Crews. Damian Priest wins the match, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Obviously, this was the worst fight of the night here. Probably give it about maybe 1.5 for the effort if we had to put a rating on it. Match was a little short, but they did a good job with the time they were given. And with Judgment Day relying so much on interference, it was nice to see someone from the group do things by himself. And that's really all there was to say on that. Then we had the face-to-face between Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Gunther and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre actually wanted a title match tonight, but Gunther said no. But he did say it, and this was the match we were hoping for, guys, and we're getting it. Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, SummerSlam, Ford Field, 12 nights from now. So, but it led into, we had a 2-for-1 deal. It led into a match. Drew McIntyre squaring off against Ludwig Kaiser. Drew McIntyre wins the match, 9 minutes and 20 seconds. All right. Well, this ended up being a really solid performance from everyone involved. Gunther versus McIntyre could end up being the fight of the night at SummerSlam, although this is a loaded card, like I said. McIntyre putting over Kaiser in the promo was nice. Kaiser is a really great talent who has been stuck playing second fiddle for his entire career so far. Corey Graves' Ludwig Kaiser impression was actually funny. I will give him credit for that. McIntyre has some of the stiffest chops in WWE. His opponents don't even have to sell for him because they are probably in so much real pain as it is. And the way Kaiser sold the white noise / air raid crash was great. His facial expressions and body movements were so convincing. This was another 3 to 3.25 star match. And there isn't much more to say. Drew McIntyre defeating Ludwig Kaiser, 9 minutes and 20 seconds. But nonetheless, we're getting it. Gunther, McIntyre, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match, SummerSlam. Could be looking at an all-timer. We've been talking about it.
We've been talking about possibly all-timers. We've been talking about how great some of these battles could actually be. And this is one of those highly anticipated battles. with the title on the line, with everything riding, without a doubt, this could easily be one of the fights of the evening. You know what? We talk about how the triple threat match between Sheamus, McIntyre, and uh, and Gunther turned out to be literally the greatest intercontinental title fight in WrestleMania history. Now we might be on the verge or might have a situation where could we possibly have yet another legendary, unbelievable, possible greatest intercontinental title fight in SummerSlam history. Now, obviously, when you talk about greatest matches in SummerSlam history, that changes the game. There's a lot more than just, riding something on that. But we'll wait and see. Whatever the case may be, it is going to be something else. This was pretty damn good. And I love the fact that, Gunther definitely, well, with everything riding on, everything looked good. I love the Corey Graves imitation of Ludwig Kaiser. I thought he was pretty spot on with it, pretty damn close to it. I was pretty impressed with it. The match is about 3.25, 3.5. Now, after that, I thought it was pretty darn good. I thought they did a really good job with the way that they handled the whole situation. So, no, I thought they did, like I said, pretty solid. So I really got nothing more to add. So, yeah, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it about 3 stars on the Ludwig Kaiser and Drew McIntyre match. But man, McIntyre and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Whew. I think this is going to give Bret Hart and the British Bulldog a run for its money as the greatest Intercontinental title match ever. I mean, especially after what we saw at WrestleMania along with Sheamus. I have a lot of high hopes for this one, so I cannot wait to see what happens with this. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
Indeed. And now we move on to what was the closing segment, but let's quickly set the table for next week's Go Home show. It's not much. We just have the only thing that's of notice is that there's going to be appearances by both Brock Lesnar and Logan Paul next week in Houston. That's it. So I'm sure later in the week or near the end of the week or the weekend, we'll probably find out what else can be expected for next Monday night's Go Home show in Houston. But right now, let's get into the closing segment of the night, as it was the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. Whoa. And, of course, his SummerSlam challenger, Finn Balor. And, in the immortal words of JBL, Michael Bullock, you know what to say here. Contract signing, you know what that means.
It didn't end well.
No, it did not end well. No, indeed, it did not. All 4 members of the Judgment Day, they went after Seth freaking Rollins, and then they went after, and then Sami Zayn tried to get involved. Nothing doing on his end, and well, I said I had something to say about the Judgment Day. It was basically a Judgment Day night. They ran roughshod. I mean, Dominic Mysterio successfully defending the NXT North American Championship against Sami Zayn. Rhea Ripley taking out Liv Morgan. Damian Priest made quick work of Apollo Crews, and then Finn Balor getting over on Seth freaking Rollins. Could be looking at a booking 101 scenario possibly, but we still have one more Raw left before SummerSlam, so we'll see if Seth freaking Rollins gets payback next week in Houston. But But nonetheless, MF, wild and crazy segment to close it out here. The pens have been put to paper, and we've got it. It's now official. SummerSlam, Seth freaking Rollins, Finn Balor, one more time for the heavyweight championship of the world at Ford Field. So MF, I mean, you want to talk about a Judgment Day night? There's nothing left for me to say except now that the bloodline has seemingly imploded, it looks like WWE is trying to build the Judgment Day as the new dominant faction in WWE today.
Yeah, they do. They do indeed. And the thing is, I love how Rollins tried to play that card. He knows what's about to happen. And he feels that if for some reason this happens, that Damian Priest is gonna turn on you. He's making it abundantly clear that he was gonna. So how's that gonna look? I don't know. We'll wait and see how it plays out. But the thing is, I loved how he was trying to play that and try to manipulate the situation, I guess is the key word to say here. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but he tried to manipulate it. But it was still solid. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And there's really nothing for me to add. So yeah. Like you said, contract signings never, ever, ever ends good in these situations. So unfortunately, didn't end good, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. So yeah, nothing more to say. And Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this contract signing didn't end well, and the Judgment Day basically show that they run the WWE, and they ended Raw just like the way they started it. And could it be a booking 101? I don't. Like you said, we still got one more Raw before we get to SummerSlam, so we'll see what happens with that. So, good way to close it out. So, it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. I mean, it was predictable, but it was done well. Judgment Day, clearly a priority for WWE, and it is doing a good job pushing them as the most dominant faction now that the bloodline has all but dissolved. So, we'll just leave it at that. Segment of the night here, no question about it. So let's get to the overall review. Michael Bullock, we started off with you. Your overall thoughts on this penultimate Monday Night Raw before SummerSlam in Tampa tonight.
Yeah, I thought this was a good addition on Monday Night Raw tonight. I mean, yeah, we did have one bad match, but everything else I thought was good. So I'll give this about 7.5. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 7.5. That's about right. I mean, overall, it was an average, maybe solid episode, not overly spectacular, but solid, not overly spectacular, maybe average edition of Raw tonight, which is not a bad thing. We saw a few decent matches, a few bouts were set up for SummerSlam, and we had a few laughs along the way. Drew McIntyre and Ludwig Kaiser probably had the fight of the night, but Zayn and Mysterio put on a match that was better than expected going into it. While none of the non-wrestling segments stood out above the others, they all accomplished something, whether it was booking a match or advancing a feud. SummerSlam will be upon us before you know it, so it's good that WWE has already confirmed a handful of matches to get the WWE Universe excited for the show on August 5th at Ford Field in Detroit. So not much more to say here. I'm with Bullock, 7.5. MF, let's get your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into my Tony's take.
Yeah, I'll give it 7 out of 10. I thought that it was a really solid show. I mean, like I said, it could have been better in certain areas, but it served its purpose. That's the key word. It served the purpose. Agreed. So good show. Obviously, you gotta bring it next week. Next week is the last build to SummerSlam. You gotta go all in on that one. No pun intended, but you do. So it was good, solid. Nothing more to say. And yeah, Anthony, it's yours. Tony's safe.
And you know how we do it as always. Impact Wrestling, NXT Level Up, and break it all down right here. So So just bear with me for a moment as I get everything set up here for that part of it. All right. One moment here, just about ready. All right. So, all right. Just okay. Here we go. Now I got it. Just want to make sure I had the right one. All right. Here we go. This was, of course, the fallout from Slammiversary, live from the St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And we started it off. Scott D'Amore, setting the table for the show. First match, it was the Good Hands squaring off against Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. And Rich Swann and Sami Callihan win the match 3 minutes and 54 seconds. 1.5 to 2. Good Hands got in more than I was expecting here, but ultimately Callihan and Swann are a much more prominent pairing. I could go for seeing the two of them getting into a bigger story, and maybe this is the start of something like that. But for now, though, nice quick opener and rather different than the longer stuff that has mainly opened the show in recent months. Then we had Jake Something squaring off against Kevin Knight, and Jake Something wins the match 13 minutes, 39 seconds, 3.5 stars. They had me until that sit-out powerbomb only got a 2 count. It's a perfect example of a move that either should have been the finish or shouldn't have been in the match. Knight got a lot in here and has the potential to be a star on his own, while Something has all the physical tools you could need. Just get a better name and things should be just fine. Courtney Rush versus Savannah Evans. Courtney Rush wins the match, 3 minutes, 56 seconds. Another 1.5 to 2. The interference and everyone getting involved hurt us a lot and kept taking me out of the match. Rush winning is a good way to go through, as she has needed some kind of momentum for a bit. Evans is a big, intimidating monster, so beating her once in a while is a great way to give someone a nice boost. Just cut down on the shenanigans. Dirty Dango versus Santino Marella. Dirty Dango wins the match, 5 minutes, 55 seconds. This was not good. This was a dud. Worst fight of the night. It was a good example of a match that missed the point. Dango attacked and insulted Santino, who should have been out for blood. Instead, he was doing arm drags and hip tosses plus the Cobra. Santino showed he can wrestle and grapple, but then he just went into the traditional goofy stuff. Why should I care if he's doing comedy in such a personal feud? It didn't work, and that's rough to see. And then you saw a guy dressed up in riot gear, and it turned out to be Johnny Bravo, the former manager of Taya Valkyrie. So he's now, I guess, Dirty Dango's new cornerman. Rematch. This was for the Impact World Tag Team Championship. The new champions, as MF surprisingly predicted, Subculture, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, Danny Luna in their corner, squaring off against the challengers and the former champions, ABC, Chris Bay, and Ace Austin. Winners of the match, 19 minutes and 57 seconds, and still the Impact World Tag Team Champions. It is Subculture. 4 to 4.25 stars. Fight of the night. This got some time, and the action was rather good for the most part. Subculture has hit the ground running like few teams ever have around here, and that's great to see. And beating the former champs, even after some shenanigans, will take Subculture a long way, and now they can wait for their next challengers. Very good match, and I was getting rather into it by the end. And then a wild and crazy closing segment here. Josh Alexander comes out, and then that brought out the World Heavyweight Champion Alex Shelley, and then X Division Champion Leo Rush comes out and teased the infamous Option C. Yeah, MF, you know what that means.
Oh no, Option C. Wow. Well, yeah, Option C, if for all you folks out there that don't know it, it's when the X Division champion vacates the title in order to go after the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep. And he teased it. He teased it. But then Kushida came out. But man alive. it got more interesting by the end, but man, very crazy ending. But 7.25 out of 10 for this show. This show only gave me so much hope for Impact's future, as this didn't feel like the rather good stuff that they had been doing in recent months. It was still a fine enough show, but something was missing there. There were good parts to the whole thing, including the ending and main event, but some of the stuff was rather weak and felt like a step in the wrong direction. Good enough overall, but hopefully they tighten things up again. And this Thursday on Impact Wrestling, 8 p.m. on Access TV, 8:30 p.m. for those of you here on YouTube with the Impact Insider membership, and then 10 p.m. or so after when it gets uploaded to Impact Plus. Eric Young will square off against Nick Aldis. Johnny Swinger versus Ziggy Dice in a loser leaves Impact Wrestling match. New Impact Knockouts champion Trinity. She will team up with Danny Luna. They'll square off against Taylor Wilde and Kylan King of the Coven. And then Tommy Dreamer is going to team up with former Detroit Red Wing Darren McCarty, and they will square off against Champagne Singh and Shira. So that's the card for Thursday night. So give it a look. All right. The other order of business, of course, we have is as part of my Tony's Take. It is NXT Level Up. So just bear with me for a moment as I get that up and running. Okay, got it. All right, we started it off with Tank Ledger and Hank Walker squaring off against Ike Manjiro and Quincy Elliott. And Tank Ledger and Hank Walker win the match 5 minutes and 40 some also see 5:44, but regardless, Tank Ledger and Hank Walker win the match. Standard tag match with the right team winning, as Ledger and Walker are at least a team, and it was great to see Ikemen back, 1.5 stars. Then we had Danny Palmer versus Izzy Dame, and Danny Palmer wins the match 4 minutes 33 seconds. Like so many others, Dame loses in her debut. Palmer looked the better of the two, but that's to be expected. Dame didn't get to show much here, as Palmer just bounced all over the place for her. Rough in spots and didn't work for me. I do want to see more from both women, though. That was a 0.5 star. And then the main event, Javier Bernal against Dante Chen. And Dante Chen wins the match 6 minutes 50 seconds. Fun match between two veterans of this show. They were given some time for this show and gave us something fun. Not as good as the main event we had the previous week, but perfectly acceptable wrestling. And I wouldn't mind seeing more like this every week. 2.5 stars for that. 6 out of 10. The opener was okay, and the main event was fun, which makes it a decent show this past week. About what I expect from this brand every week, as it's an easy show to watch, and if the main event can give us something solid, we're good to go. So that's all there is to say on that. So 6 out of 10 for that. So with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. As always, we will be back with you on Wednesday night at 10:30. Over on MF's channel, BraceFan95, for another edition of Wednesday Night Madness, NXT, AEW Dynamite, as always. And then, of course, you all know, in case you don't know, TXN Sports World is on a hiatus right now, and we will not have a show again this Thursday night. So we'll be back with you after Wednesday. We'll be back with you on Saturday night. Also on MF's channel, BraceFan95, for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. As we will, and we got quite a bit of a show here. We got Friday night's our review of Friday Night SmackDown. We got a loaded AEW Collision to get into, and then MF and I, we will be previewing the RWA Legacy, RWA's version of WrestleMania, which goes down this Sunday. MF and I will have a preview of that. And then MF will close the show with his newest Big Three report, as he will run down this past week's action and set the table for the games that will take place this Sunday afternoon at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. So you don't want to miss that. That's on Saturday. And then next Monday night, SummerSlam week. And we started off with the Monday Night Raw that will be live from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. and then my latest Tony's take on Impact Wrestling and NXT Level Up, and we'll have more details on SummerSlam week in the coming days, and that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness over on MF's channel, Raceway 95. This is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever in spirit, the First Lady of this show, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days, and until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamer.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, 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 bye.